Hello and welcome to Korpi. So we wanted to get into farming. We had some money but not enough to buy anything decent, so all we could get was some land up here. I think our land is in this patch here somewhere. So with the money we had left over, we got ourselves a mower, cultivator, a windrower. I rang this shop and asked them to match up some cheap stuff that can run on less than 100 horsepower, because the tractor we can afford is this thing here. She's nothing special. It's fully refurbished 4320 diesel. It is 2-wheel drive at the moment. They said they do have a kit that will make it 4-wheel drive and give it an extra 20 horsepower. But for now, this is what we've got. So we are going to fire this. These wheel arches just do not suit the tractor at all. We have on the back, on the front, sorry, a big bag lifter, so we can move fertilizer bags and pallets and stuff if we need to. They have drawn around the outskirts of our land so we can see our barrier. What I'm hoping to be able to afford to do is put in a cheap silage pit and maybe get ourselves a forage wagon. I don't know how we're going to go doing that, because we still have to get somewhere to sleep. Because all we have literally is just the land, and I don't know if this tractor will pull all of this stuff up this hill. Struggling a bit there. Maybe we should have paid extra and got the 4-wheel drive one. Would have been a bit more torquey. But we're doing it. This mower runs on 75 horsepower, so we have plenty enough. There's some nice big humps there. This is our perimeter. We can't go any further past this down here. I think we do own that land next to us, but this is our main plot because this one goes onto the river. Maybe this one we could use for like sheds and a house and things like that. Clear some of these trees out. I think for now we're just going to have to do like a cabin or a tent. I'm thinking 17,000. We need to make some money, so maybe we could chop down a couple of trees and sort them out, because I think the forage wagon we need is this one. $3,600. The silage pit we need, I know there's a couple for 5,000. Not them ones. 10,000, 12,000. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe there isn't one for 5,000. Oh, there we go. That'll do us. It's nothing spectacular, but I reckon if we could stick that in there, sort of out of the way. That looks pretty levelish. That leaves us with 8,000. Plus, we've still got to get ourselves somewhere to sleep. And this is just going to be something temporary, because I would love to get that shed house. We could probably just whack this thing down. That's all we need. It's not freezing cold yet. That'll give us a couple of months to get ourselves the money. We could put it in here so it's a bit protected if it gets windy. I'm thinking when you can compare that to the $320 small tent, that's nothing. 20 grand for that one. Yeah, no, I think we're going to go this one for sure. We might get ourselves a little light to put there. So we got a little gas lantern or something we can put in that. Little garden lights, aren't they? They're very expensive. Maybe we could just stick this thing here. Light up our campsite. We've got a fire pit here for out the front, so it's not too crazy. So I think basically what we're going to do is we're going to mow as much as we can. And then windrow it. I'm not too fussed too much about over here. It's a bit whoopty and humpy. And we may eventually put a chicken coop or something in. I have seen a couple of cheap ones that we've downloaded. It's only $6 and we can have up to 30. Which is perfect to start out because that one $9 you can have 360. Okay, that's probably the one we're gonna get. $2 150. $10 or 500. I think that one though doesn't give you very much food storage. $45 200. So we do have a lot of options there, which is good. But I still think we may have to knock a couple of trees down, unfortunately. Which is one thing we have to get. Is a chainsaw. So I think now we've pretty much got all of the basics that we need. It's just going to be a matter of mowing it down. We'll probably try and start down this way. Hopefully, I mean there's going to be a ton of grass here, but just thinking about compaction because this tractor does not weigh very much and its tyres aren't too good. So obviously we aren't starting from scratch. On this map when you start you get $100,000. So I mean I could have done another start from scratch where we just do timber for the first 3 episodes to get enough money to buy all this stuff. But I've done that a few times now, so it might be better just to try this way. Or we've at least got a tractor, a mower. You know, we can make silage with a silage clamp. We're not going to be using like a production building to 150,000 litres can get dropped in there and 10 seconds later it's all silage. I think this way is a little bit more realistic-ish. There is a couple other mowers we could have got, but I think this tractor at the moment is 89 horsepower or something, so everything we have has to run. I know that cultivator is more power. I'm pretty sure this will still run it. I'm almost positive I've used this tractor with that cultivator before. But because this tractor does have options to go up to 138, it may have been on that one, so we're going to find out. But I just didn't want to cultivate this up without cutting this grass because there's a fair bit of cash laying here in these weeds. So if we can get 20-30,000 litres of grass put in there, anything else is going to be a bonus. So like if we don't mow at all, it's not a big deal. I'm also not going to sit here and go up and down, back and forwards for an hour with you guys watching. I'll save you the hassle of that. But that's what we got, so I'll get back to you when we're a bit further down the line and see where we're at. Alright, so I did mow the whole field. I don't need to windrow the whole lot. I just want to windrow an area that we can turn into a grass field. I mean, an arable field for now. So let's just drop this down. We'll make some neater piles for us so we can pick it up quickly. And then we should be good to go. So I think, yeah, we'll just do probably from this tree line to where those other trees are over there. I think that would be a good spot for us. Our equipment isn't going to be too big, and we're going to need to get a harvester, so that's why I think if we put some of this grass away now, in the next month or two, it'll clear itself up and turn into silage, and then we'll sell it off slowly. Hopefully silage can go into our forage wagon as well as the grass, which I think it can. Just trying to work out just halfway, like we're starting about here. We bring the line across where the 26 is, or do we? I mean, eventually we're going to make it all fields. We'll just do this full run down here anyway and get that sorted. This is the hardest part. I mean, we can always make the field bigger, but we can't really. It's a lot harder to make it smaller. So the grass is staying like concrete just there. Lift. Yeah, this is the hard part at the moment. I mean, I don't want to go too small, but I don't know how big our equipment's going to be, so we sort of just go like across this way maybe. It's a pretty decent sized field, if I'm being honest. And I mean, I'd probably prefer to put a road through the middle anyway. And just have half a field to start with, or two smaller fields, because we're going to want to grow wheat in one. We do want to get chickens, but we don't want to grow too much because we don't have anywhere to store it yet. That's sort of another conundrum. There's enough room down there to do another big field, so we've got to try and maximize the land that we have, so we can turn a profit and afford to buy more land. And I mean, I haven't really ventured out on the map much. I don't know how much of this land is level or usable. Like, there's lots of plots of land that are just trees. So it's sort of going to be a little bit hit and miss until we get it all up and running and sorted, I guess. But this is the fun part, is just working everything out. Obviously the field won't come up this far, it'll only come level with that row of trees. But it's going to take a fair while to cultivate and seed, I would imagine. Tractor isn't the biggest beast, and neither is our equipment, because the tractor just won't pull it. So, but at least we're not doing it by hand, and at least we're not having to chop down 50 trees to get our cash. I'm sure we will clear trees at some point, but it's not going to be a. Well, I hope it's not. I hope it's not going to be a life or death situation where we have to do that all day. There is a lot of nice trees here that will earn us some decent cash, which is great. Some of these little ones I think we'll just chop up, maybe just sell them whole. Won't get much money for them anyway, so there's not a whole lot of point wasting time on them. But in reality, if we need money, we need money. Every dollar counts. So there's that too, but I'm going to get this finished and I'll pop back when we've got this area cleared out. Okie dokie, so we just picked up the forage wagon. This is going to fill up rather fast, isn't it? I think I underestimated how much grass there would be here, in all honesty. It's over half full and I haven't even done a full trip around the field. I mean, I'm not complaining. Great thing. Extra money for us, and I'm going to be good. It's just a little bit more work than I was expecting. This thing was great, like what is it, 4,000 or 3,800 bucks or something? Holds 13,000 litres. So yeah, no complaints here at all. I don't know how much we can put into that silage pit. We will have to be able to get it out, so I don't want to go too high because we don't have a bucket. We should have enough money to buy one if we needed to, but then we'd have to probably buy a weight. I don't think this tractor would be keen on lifting too much weight, in all honesty. Maybe once we've done the four-wheel drive conversion, if they get one in for us, that would make it a bit more usable. Put a weight on the back. That's a lot of grass very fast, and this isn't even a fertilized area. This is just meadow grass. And this tractor combination isn't very heavy, so I don't think it's going to compact very well. Let that happen. Knock it up against the wall. I'll just try not to have it too close to the edge because we don't have a bucket to scrape it back in at the moment. But it is what it is. I mean, that was a pretty decent haul. Definitely happy I'm not doing the whole field right now. I won't do it all on camera. It'll take a fair while, but by the looks of that, we should be able to get ourselves probably 50-60,000 litres in there easily without being too tall. So if we could dump 2 or 3 more besides the one we just dumped in there, that'd be 30 or 40,000, and maybe a couple on top, and it shouldn't be too hilly. If we can get it down smooth enough, we should be able to drive this over it when it's silage and scoop it back up without too much hassle. The thing that worries me is, like I said, this is only 2-wheel drive, this tractor. There's no weight, doesn't have a ton of power to pull anything through, so it might be a bit of an issue emptying that out. But like I said, we do have enough money, I think, to buy a bucket, even if it's only 1,000 litres, just to lift and move, scoop. I can't believe that. This is 26,000 litres already. And we're going to be at 50,000 litres in four full trucks. Madness. Fire out the mound. The big mound's in the same bloody spot. Let's see how it goes driving through there before we get it too full. I think it's going to like it too much. I wonder if it would work better if we went through there with this full. Because then the cart would have more weight, right? Try that. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is we get stuck and then we just empty it out and clean up our mess afterwards. But yeah, very impressed by this. It hasn't been around for long, this mod. Normally the cheapest ones are about 30 grand. That was like well out of the ballpark. You sit there and watch Daggerwin and a few others on PC, and they got all these nice cheap old mods. You're like, finally we've got them on console. I was contemplating on switching over to PC, and I may still do that, but I just like to be able to jump on the console and have a bit of a play. Helps with the anxiety and the depression. Gives you a clear mind. Isn't too bad at all. Worked well. This is going to be way full before we even get through. Oh, that was crappy. Crappy at Korpi. Yeah, it's not going to take the full row. There we are. Right, let's see how we go getting through here. That's doing heaps more. Done like 20% on that run. I want to try and get it as level as we can too, because we do have to get this out at some point, you know. If we can get all them crazy lumps and bumps out, it shouldn't be an issue when we come back through to try and scoop it up with this thing. It's just a matter of finding those bumps and lumps and just continually running over them until you get it smooth enough, I guess. Alright, well I might continue doing this for a little bit, fill it up a bit more, and we'll get back to you shortly. Alright, so this should be, I think, the last load we've got. I don't even know actually, I didn't check. I think we're about 70,000 litres of grass. It's crazy, there's heaps in there. We have spilt a little bit out the end from flattening, but it's been pretty handy actually going in there with the loaded trailer. It's helped flatten it down a bit. I haven't done it 100%, but once this is done we might do that. We'll empty this out and I'll just back and forwards and get it smooth as. Just to make sure that it's easier for us to pick up, because I know it's going to just dig a trench down to the concrete when it's time for us to pick all this up. So we may have to do one row from one side, one row from another, and then try and get over the hump in the middle, I guess. But as long as we can get a couple of trailer loads out, we could probably afford to buy ourselves a bucket just to scoot stuff around, just to take the humps and stuff off at least. Would be very handy if we could anyway. Alright, we'll duck over and grab these last bits. We could always fill up by just going around the outsides or picking up some of this loose stuff anyway. As long as we get the bulk of it, because I'd say this is going to be our first field. Not sure if we'll get started on it today. But we definitely will tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a big day if all of this silage is ready. It's going to be a fair few loads up and down, and I mean I probably should have checked. I'm not even sure if there's a place to sell silage on this map yet. Probably would have been a wise thing to do first, wouldn't it? Double check that. Let's get up to like 10,000 litres, just clear this outer edge. There you go. Come down here around these trees and spin it back. A little bit humpy around here too, so if we do build anything here, we're going to have to be cautious on the levelling fees. There's a bit of a whoopy bit here too. There you go, fully loaded. So I mean, we've probably only picked up a third of the grass on this land. Yeah, maybe. But there's still tons. And I mean, we haven't even mowed up around the back end up there either yet, so there's that. Let's get these little bits levelled off first. Having the trailer makes a huge difference, the weight. So that's been super helpful. But I just want to try and get it as smooth as we can, because that's going to play a big part in trying to get back through here. Obviously once it is silage you can't smooth it out anymore. You can scoop it up, but that's about it. So try and line up on all these bad peaks. We are losing a little bit out the front, but that can just go into the next batch. Not a big thing that I'm super worried about. Just want to try and get this level down so we can drive over it easier. If it was a four-wheel drive tractor or something a little bit bigger, it wouldn't be such an issue. Right, let's dump this out. No, it stopped. Don't stop. You bugger. Oh, we've gone too fast. That hump is going to ruin the whole thing that we've just spent all day getting right. I don't think we're going to be able to get over that. It always happens, the last run you make the biggest mess. It definitely doesn't compact as fast when it's empty. Get it done though, that's the main thing. Wobble along like that. I mean, I can go up and down this a million times and it's going to get it nice and smooth and compacted, but we'll end up pushing a lot more out of the bunker silo. So I just want it smoothish so we can drive in and out without having any major traction issues. I know it sounds silly, but when we've got bigger machinery and bigger tractors and a bucket, it's not a big deal because you don't have to scoop it back out. Let's do it a couple more times. Oh, it's boring and repetitive, but I apologise. This end's coming up really nice now. Couple more little hoopies up here. I reckon that's probably where we're going to leave it. Honestly, it's pretty spot on to me. Because we're going to get it without putting or use board. We'll leave this little beast sitting here because we're going to need this trailer tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. There we go. We'll blanket it all up and then we're good to go. Alright, I'm going to head down the shop and bring back this cultivator. And then we'll see what we can get done. I've got to say I'm a little bit nervous that this is going to pull this. The guys at the shop reckon it does, but maybe if it was four-wheel drive, I don't know. Old tractors are tough, but I just don't know if it's going to work. But what I might do is I might lay out an edge. See how this field size looks. And I'll show you how I sort of lay out my fields normally. I sort of tend to... Well, I do use a worker on some part of it because when you try and do this, usually you can't get perfectly straight edges. So all I try and do is just get it to sort of where you want. Obviously we can clean this up down here. And I try and make as straight as I can, but we've already gone off a little bit, as you can tell. These fields are going to be huge. Might just turn rocks off at the moment because we don't have a rock picker. That's going to suck a little bit for back there, but that's what we're going to have to deal with. Hopefully when we roll it, they'll shoot back in. But I'm definitely thinking we might split this field into two, just to start with. So that one didn't turn out too bad. It's a little bit wonky. But what I tend to do now is come along, line it back up to where you sort of want the real edge. I'm going to sort of go half and half here because we did go skew if. Now what I do is I drop it back down and turn a worker on. Yes, it does cost you money, but 99% of the time these guys will, or girls, will do a perfectly straight line. I mean, the grass is making it look a bit messy here at the moment. But we'll do a perfectly straight line along the outside edge. And that's how you get your nice square fields. Now I'm thinking we're probably going to cut this field in half about there. Which we can just put some asphalt down the middle once we work it out. But it's going to be pretty decent size, and we don't have much equipment at all, really. So that's sort of where you got to be careful too, because these fellas will sometimes just go balls to the wall and keep going. They don't tend to always stop. So just remember that when you're doing it. But I'm pretty stoked this tractor. I did not think it would pull this cultivator. Very dark there. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just something settings. My computer's done an update. I'm not sure if something's changed. Or the capture card's playing up, but it just seems super dark on some parts of the maps that I've been playing lately. I will make this road wider. But for now I'm just trying to get our field laid out. We'll probably cut some of these trees down here and make this road wider all the way down to where the driveway is back from the shops. That is extremely dark on my screen. Weird, I don't know what's going on there. That's how I lay out my edges and my fields. Basically, it's no secret. I'm not sure if others do it that way. That's just the way that I have found that it works the best for me. Gives you that nice straight clean edge. Yeah, but yeah, it works. That's the main thing, right? Costs you a few dollars to lay it out, but if you have any, you know, bit of OCD about straight edges and clean lines, that's the perfect way to fix it. But just don't trust the workers to do it on their own, because they will mess it up. When I first started doing it, I trusted them, went away, go and get a drink, come back, and they plowed half of my whole thing straight through another field. So they can have a mind of their own, unfortunately. But I think that's going to be a perfect size field for us to start out, in all honesty. So just come along here, we try and get it on the edge without losing too much of our road. And the worker on. And then Bob's your uncle. That is where we're going to leave today's episode. Thank you for watching. Hope it's a good one. A little bit jumpy, bouncing around here and there, but yeah, it's a good start. Didn't have a whole lot of money to start with. You know, I was going to do a bit of a survival one, but this is going to be semi-survival without all the tree work for the first 3 episodes, so hopefully it won't take so long to progress. Have a good day, keep safe, give us a like and a sub if you haven't already, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one.